Hey everybody, so I am in Minneapolis today, or St. Paul, and, well actually St. Paul is where I'm at right now, but they're the twin cities, so they're like right next to each other. So I am on a book hunt and looking around, and I'm at a half-price books that everything on TripAdvisor said this was the best half-price books in the Twin Cities. So I'm gonna go inside, take a look, see what I can find. Hopefully we'll find some good stuff, and we'll find out. See you in a few. Okay, everybody. This half-price books came to play. This is the best half-price books, the one in St. Paul. If you are in the Twin Cities, go to the one in St. Paul. This was a treasure trove. I legit found so many things that I was like, I can't believe this is just sitting on a shelf for like $1.99. For instance, I found the rarest Star Trek Starfleet Academy book, which is a Star Trek Voyager Starfleet Academy book. This is the rarest one. Book number 3, Quarantine, in perfect condition for $1.99. This book usually goes online for like $112, and it's just sitting there on the shelf. I can't believe it. I like literally can't believe it. This is so incredible. And then I've never, ever, in all the time that I have been book searching and hunting, all the places I've ever been to, I've never seen an Are You Afraid of the Dark on the shelf. And then there it was for $1.99, just sitting on the shelf. I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen if it still glows in the dark or not. I'm gonna have to try it out later, but I can't believe it. Like legit, this place was amazing. There was also a Goosebumps book on the shelf, which I can't tell you about because I'll have to go in my next Goosebumps video. But I found some more Star Trek Deep Space Nine books I didn't have. They're like all in perfect condition. I found more Mindwarp books, which this is in perfect condition. I just can't. I was like, how is this in such good condition? This is so wild. And then I also found the rarest Mindwarp book in near perfect condition. And then this, I don't even know what this is, but I just grabbed it because I didn't have this Animorphs book, but they had this one for $2.49, and it was shrink wrapped. And I am pretty sure this has never been opened, but this is book number 45, The Revelation, with this exclusive CD-ROM demo game shrink wrapped with the book. I'm pretty sure this has never been opened. Like, it does not look like it's ever been read. I'm so curious if this is like a Scholastic Book Fair special thing from back in the day. I don't even know. I have no idea. I've tried to find out some information about this thing, and I have no clue. I can't find anything online about it except for the full game that goes for like 12 bucks online. You can get the CD-ROM, but I don't know anything about the demo packaged with this book in particular. I don't know if I'm taking this out of the plastic. I don't know yet. I don't even know. And then I also found so many amazing books. I just can't even believe it. And the condition that they're all in is so amazing. I found the last book in the Animorphs series, book number 54, in like perfect condition. I can't even wrap my head around this right now. I just can't even wrap my head around it. I'm dropping things. Wow. That was incredible. And they had like a whole downstairs area with all the clearance stuff. If you are here in St. Paul, you've got to go check this store out. It's amazing. Hey everyone, Shaun Stevenson here, author of the Throne series. And I was recently in Minnesota, and I went to some of the most amazing half-price bookstores I've ever been to. I went to some other used bookstores there in Minnesota too, but it was the half-price bookstores there that had amazing stuff. There was one in particular. It is one in St. Paul area. That one is the half-price books to go to in that area in Minneapolis, St. Paul area. That half-price books in particular, from what I understand, it was a locally owned bookstore that became a half-price bookstore, but it operates a little differently than most half-price books. And so they had a ton of stuff just sitting on the shelf. So let's dive right into it. There is so many books to talk about. I can't wait to show these to you. So starting off with some spooky books, I found another entry in the Shadow Zone series. Guess who's dating a werewolf? This one, I just can't even. It's by J.R. Black, and I haven't read any of these yet. I have another one of these, and I am intrigued to read them. It's another one of those knockoff Goosebumps kind of series from the 90s, and I mean, this sounds like a great premise. I can't wait to find out what happens in this book. And then I could not believe I found 2 of these books sitting on the shelf at the store. This was amazing. I have never in my life so far seen Are You Afraid of the Dark books from the 90s sitting on the shelf. And I found 2 of them. So the first one I picked up was book number 6, which is The Tale of the Phantom School Bus. So this one is by Brad and Barbara Strickland, who they wrote a ton of books in the 90s, like all over the place. And this does have the glow in the dark thing right there. I don't think it really glows in the dark anymore. I haven't really seen it glow when it's been dark in the library, so it's fine though. But this one is an awesome looking one. I cannot wait to read these. I've read a couple of these back in the day because I checked out a couple from the library when I was a kid. I remember definitely checking them out. I used to watch this show whenever we were at my grandma's house, and we always, all the cousins would watch the show together, and it was so much fun. I actually remember watching the premiere episode on television on Nickelodeon when it aired. So that was super fun. I am so excited to read these and find out, how the books hold up after all these years. And like I said, I picked up 2 of them. So I also picked up book number 10, and this one is The Tale of the Curious Cat by Diana G. Gallagher, who is another one of those authors in the 90s who was writing a ton of books in so many different series like this. And so I cannot wait to read this. It kind of reminds me of Cry of the Cat, the Series 2000 Goosebumps book by R.L. Stine. So I'm excited to find out what happens in this one. It looks like so much fun as well. And I think the eyes are supposed to glow in the dark, but I'm not sure if they still do. And then, yes, I did find 4 more Bailey School Kids books. I'm getting close to having all of them, but I still have a few to go. So I picked up book number 26, and this one is Mermaids Don't Run Track. And this one is apparently one of the ones that's a little harder to find. So I'm intrigued by that and why that is. But here it is, book number 26, Mermaids Don't Run Track. I also picked up one of the specials. This one's a St. Patrick's Day special, and it's Leprechauns Don't Play Fetch. Which I was like, wait, is the leprechaun playing fetch or is the dog playing fetch? I don't know, but here it is. This one's a special one. They did some of these on like holidays and stuff. Like there's a Christmas special, a couple of those like that, and there's a Halloween special one too. So this one is a St. Patrick's Day special. I also picked up super special book number 3, Mrs. Jeepers' Secret Cave. So I haven't read any of these super special ones yet. They're a little bit longer than the regular Bailey School Kids books, but I'm excited to eventually get to these. I kind of want to read through the rest of the original series first before I get to these super specials. And then I also picked up book number 5 in the super specials, Mrs. Jeepers' Monster Class Trip, which these Bailey School Kid books, they make me laugh. And then this was an interesting one. I've never heard of this series before, but I picked it up because it looked like a fascinating book. And that is the Screamers series. And this is The Fright Mask. This one is by Dawn Wolfson, which is very interesting. And I'm trying to see, I don't think there was a number on this, but there are multiple ones in the series. So this one is The Fright Mask, and it has other stories as well. There's multiple like short stories all in this book, but it's a series. So it's kind of interesting. I'm curious about these. And then because I am a magician, as well as many other things, I could not pass up when I saw, of course I wouldn't pass this up anyway because it's a Dead Time Stories, but I was super excited because this is book number 6 in the Dead Time Stories series, and that is Little Magic Shop of Horrors by A.J. Cascone. AJ Cascone. So I am super excited to read this one. I have really liked the Goosebumps books that have magic tricks in them. And so I'm excited to read more that are of this kind of Goosebumps knockoff kind of series that has magic tricks in it, because like I said, I'm a magician. So it's always kind of funny because I know stuff about these things, how they talk about them, and I'm always like, you did not do your research, or, ooh, you did your research. I also picked up another Graveyard School book, and this one was in pretty good condition. I was excited about it. That is book number 4, Little Pet Werewolf by Tom B. Stone. And I'm excited to read more of these. I have read 2 of them so far, and I can't wait to keep going on the series, especially now that I'm getting them kind of in order so I can read them in order, because these do like introduce characters and keep building on them. In this series, this is another one of those Goosebumps knockoff series, so I really enjoy reading the ones I've read so far, so I can't wait to read more of them. And then I got another Michigan Chillers book. Now, I will be the first to say, I do not know how to say the name of this town, so if you're from Michigan and you know how, please tell me in the comments below, because I would appreciate it. I picked up book number 4 in the Michigan Chillers series by Jonathan Rand, and this is Aliens Attack Alpena? It can't be Alpina. Alpena? Alpine? I don't know. So please tell me how to say that out loud in the comments below, because I would appreciate it. Jonathan Rand wrote these Michigan Chillers. He also has the American Chillers books that have like a different kind of monster story from each state of the United States. And this one is a whole series just based on Michigan. And so there's like all the different towns in Michigan and different things happen in them. So this is another alien one. I am on a tiny alien kick right now, as you will probably be finding out soon from some reviews coming up. But I am super excited about alien stories, so maybe this will be my first Michigan Chillers. I haven't read any of them yet, and maybe this one will be the one. So then moving on to some mass market paperback spooky books, I found a few that I was real excited about. The first one I found was J.B. Stamper's Still More Tales for the Midnight Hour. I've read one of these collections, the very first one, Tales for the Midnight Hour, and that book was a lot of fun. It had some genuinely creepy stories in it. It had some that I was like, okay, that was whatever, but the first one had some that were short stories that were super creepy. So I cannot wait to read more of these. And then I found a couple of Christopher Pike books. Now, I have read my first Christopher Pike YA novel, and I just gotta say, that was a wild experience. That book, after I finished reading it, I actually called my brother and I said, can I spoil this book for you? Because I feel like I need to tell someone about it, because it is that out there and that wild. So I have a review coming up of that soon, and I have really been debating about doing a spoiler review of that book, mainly because I kind of want to laugh about it. Not like laugh at it, but just laugh about how absolutely bonkers the end of the book was. But I do have a non-spoiler review that's coming soon for that book, so definitely keep an eye out, because it was an interesting Christopher Pike book. But until then, I did find a couple more Christopher Pikes. So I found The Midnight Club, which I was actually just talking to a friend about this particular book, and she was telling me that this was actually the one that she read as a teenager from Christopher Pike, and she remembers really loving it. So I was excited to find a copy of it and pick it up. And then I also picked up Christopher Pike's book, Weekend, which I don't really know anything about this one. I've been trying not to read the backs of any of these kinds of books, because I just don't want anything spoiled for me, because sometimes I'll read the back and then it'll sit in my mind for a little bit while I'm reading, and then I'll start to guess what's going on, and sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm not, but I just would rather be totally surprised. So I do not try and read the backs of any of these, so I have no idea what this is about. But I'm like, okay, Christopher Pike, I'm going in, because these have been fun so far. Of the Spooksville's books that I've read, and also the other Christopher Pike book I read, I've been enjoying them. And then I picked up another Diane Ho book, which is The Accident. This one looked really fun. Like, I love the colors on the cover. Like, I think those just look so amazing, like so 90s. So I was excited about finding this one in the store. Don't really know anything about it. It was interesting because I noticed some of the half-price books were putting these kinds of books, like these point horror paperbacks, into the adult horror section, but also in the YA section. So if you're at a half-price books, definitely check both areas because you never know what you're going to find in either one. And then I picked up some more R.L. Stine books. I got 3 Fear Street books and then 1 non-Fear Street R.L. Stine book, and I was super excited about them. So I found The Overnight, which I was so excited. This copy's in great condition, actually. So I'm super excited to read this Fear Street book. I just have pretty much been loving all the Fear Street books that I've been reading. They've been so enjoyable. They're so much fun. And I cannot wait to read this one. My brother's read it. He was telling me it was a lot of fun. He really liked it. So I can't wait to read it. And then I also picked up another Fear Street book, Missing, which this was another one my brother read and said he loved. And he thinks I'm going to really like this one, so I can't wait to read it and find out what happens. And then I also picked up another super chiller, and that was The Dead Lifeguard. So this one is perfect for summertime. I will definitely have to read it. And then I found a non-Fear Street R.L. Stine book, like I said. And this one I was intrigued by. I was like, oh, I want to know what the first book in this little duology is, because I would like to read these. These look like a lot of fun. And that is Halloween Night 2 by R.L. Stine. So I love this cover. I think it looks so interesting, and I can't wait to read it, but I might save it for Halloween time since, Halloween night and all that, but we'll see what happens. And then I also picked up a few more Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys and some Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys in the same books. So there's a whole bunch of these. Here we go. First up, I got book number 42 in the Nancy Drew Case File series, and that is The Wrong Chemistry by quote unquote Carolyn Keene. But these ones are a little bit different than the regular Nancy Drews. Nancy Drew in these it's a little more intense in these case file books, which I kind of liked. I've been enjoying the Hardy Boys ones that I've been reading, and so I can't wait to read more of these case files books. I also found some of the Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys Super Mystery series. And this one's interesting because it says they're by Carolyn Keene, not by her and Franklin W. Dixon, which of course both of those are pen names for tons of different authors who have ghostwritten these books. But I thought that was interesting that they are almost a little more focused on the Nancy Drew than the Hardy Boys. So this one is a Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys Super Mystery, Spies and Lies. So these are where Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys all team up together and solve a super mystery, not just a regular mystery. And then this one is another Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys Super Mystery, Tour of Danger. And then this one is Shockwaves. And then this last one, they changed the cover style, and I don't love it as much as those other ones. I think those covers were a little better. But this one is Operation Titanic. And see, they changed that cover style. I don't love it as much. I think it's a little bit more actually weirdly dated looking than the other ones. The other ones have more of a vintage feel. This has more of a 2000 feel, which someday 2000s will become vintage and then it might be awesome. But until then, I will slightly cringe. And then these were really interesting. I'd never even heard of these ones. This is also a Nancy Drew and the Hardy Boys team-up book. This one is The Secret of the Knight's Sword, and this one is Carolyn Keene and Franklin W. Dixon, but this one is a choose-your-own-adventure style Nancy Drew and Hardy Boys book. So in it, you have all the regular choose-your-own-adventure kind of stuff, and there's also pictures and things in the book of different things that happen. So it's kind of interesting. I was intrigued by this. I had not seen any of these before, and I never heard of them, that there were these choose-your-own-adventure ones. So I'm intrigued to read this. I will admit, reading choose-your-own-adventure style books is a little exhausting for me because they're a lot of work to read, because I usually I write down every page number, and then I cross them off as I get to them. So that way I can kind of track where I've been and where I've not. So when I do reviews of these books, I can say I've read the whole thing and done every scenario, so they're a lot of work to read. but I am interested to read it and find out how this compares to other Choose Your Own Adventures. And then I picked up another Nancy Drew minstrel cover book, and that is Nancy Drew number 97, The Mystery at Magnolia Mansion. So I love these covers. I think they're amazing. And these are the ones that I'm collecting of Nancy Drew books. I love just the style so much. So that's another one in the collection. And then I picked up a couple of Hardy Boys minstrel books, and this is number 69, The Four-Headed Dragon. And then book number 115 in the Hardy Boys, this one is Sabotage at Sports City. And then I picked up another Clue book. So this is Clue book number 7, and this one is The Picture Perfect Crime. These ones have mini mysteries in them based on the board game Clue. They're super fun. I've always enjoyed reading these. I read like all of them as a kid because I would get them from the library as they came out, and I enjoyed reading them so much, and they're so much fun still. And then this one I picked up especially for one of my viewers, Joseph, because he's always asking me if I'm finding any of these. And I found this one, and I was super excited about it because this one is a Wishbone Super Mystery. And it looks so fun. This is the Wishbone Super Mysteries, The Halloween Joker. This one is by Ann Capici, so I am super excited. These are long. This is a super, super long book. Look, back in the day, someone sold it at Bibles for Missions for 49 cents. I did not pay 49 cents. I think I paid like $2. But here is this one. It's, how many pages is this? This one is, 255 pages, which is long for this kind of a book. So that's why it's a super mystery. And then I did find another Berenstein Bears book by Stan and Jan Berenstein, and that is The Berenstein Bears at Camp Crush. I do remember reading this one. I do not remember anything about it. I don't know. I will read it and find out how it holds up. Some of these Berenstein Bear big chapter books do not really hold up over time, but here's another one that I will read and see how it is. And moving into some sci-fi, I found some amazing stuff. I honestly couldn't even believe it. There was one book in here that I found that I actually sat on the floor at Half Price Books after I found it and held it in my hands and said, is this real life? Because I couldn't believe it, that it was sitting on Half Price Bookshelf for like $2 when I know that it goes for over $100 online because it's so rare and so hard to find. And it's one of my favorite properties, and so we'll talk about it in a second. But first, I found a couple more Mindwarp books, which, all right, I just put out my first video of a review of Mindwarp Book 1. And like I said in that review, this series, it starts off very comedic and then moves into sci-fi horror and like alien horror kind of stuff. And it was so fun at the end, and I could not wait to read book 2, and I was so glad I found book 2. So I have book 2. Now, these ones are in such good condition. I kind of couldn't believe it. But here is book number 2, Alien Blood. And this one, it is just like pristine shape. I am so excited about it. I can't wait to read it. It has that awesome like shimmery like stuff on the front cover. It's so cool. So 90s. But this is Mindwarp. It's like a sci-fi kind of horror series. So we'll find out what happens in book 2. And I'm curious if it's going to be as comedic at the beginning as it was in the first book. The comedy kind of dropped off halfway through that book, which I was actually appreciative of because I think it went in a good direction after that. And then I also picked up Mindwarp book number 9, Out of Time, which look at that awesome metallic cover. It is so amazing. This one is also just in such good shape. I am so excited to read more of this series because the first one was pretty good. And then I found 2 more Star Trek Deep Space Nine books that I did not have yet. And so I am close to having the whole collection of these. And so this is book number 5, Arcade. So I just actually finished reading another one of these this morning before I filmed this, and it was not as good as the first one I read, The Star Ghost. That one is excellent. The second one was kind of like one of those episodes of Star Trek Deep Space Nine that's just kind of mid, and you're like, it was fine. It was an episode. So that's kind of how that one was, but I'm excited to read more of this series. And then I also found book number 11 in the Star Trek Deep Space Nine series, Day of Honor, Honor Bound. And this one, Diana G. Gallagher, there she is, writing another one. This one has Worf in it from Star Trek The Next Generation and Worf's son, so it should be a lot of fun. Klingon stories are always just fun. So this is book number 11. And here it is. This is one of my favorite sci-fi television series of all time. I absolutely love this series. I think it is so amazing. And I actually got to see the series finale of this show before it aired on television because my friend's aunt won a radio contest to get tickets. And so she took me and my friend and we went to go see the series finale of the show. And it is one of my favorite memories. Although I sat next to a guy dressed as a Klingon. And so in Star Trek lore, Klingons, I'm giving some hints, Klingons smell bad, and this person actually took that to the next level and made themselves smell bad in order to be authentic to a Klingon. So it was an experience. I had so much fun though. But I definitely found a copy of Star Trek Voyager, Starfleet Academy, book number 3, Quarantine, which is the rarest Starfleet Academy book out of all 3 of the series they have of this. This one is impossible to find. It goes for so much money online, and I could not believe that I found it. It was like one of those moments I sat and I was like, this is why I go book hunting, to find amazing finds like this. I love Star Trek Voyager. It is one of my favorite Star Trek series and sci-fi series of all time, and I can't believe I have this book. I am so excited to read it and see how this one is. I love Catherine Janeway as a character. I love the Star Trek Voyager characters, so can't wait to read this book. And then I found, for something completely different, I found another Alex Mack book. This one I believe is actually the first book in the Alex Mack series, and this is The Secret World of Alex Mack, Alex, You're Glowing, also by Diana G. Gallagher. She's all over this video. So this one is another one of the Alex Mack books. Alex Mack was a series on Nickelodeon back in the day, and they had a book series, and so this one is the first book, Alex, You're Glowing. And then I found a whole slew of Animorphs books, and these were in pristine shape. Now, they had some more. I didn't pick up all of them because I actually thought they had a few that were overpriced at the bookstore I found these ones at, and so I didn't get them all. I decided to put some back because I thought, I'm not paying $40 for an Animorphs book. I'm sorry. Like, that's just not gonna happen. So, but I did find quite a few. So here we go. This one is book number 30, The Reunion. And then book number 32, The Separation. Book number 34, The Prophecy. Book number 36, The Mutation. Book number 37, The Weakness. Book number 38, The Arrival. Book number 41, The Familiar. And I also found book number 54, the last book in the original series, The Beginning. And then I found something else very interesting. And I am still debating about whether to open this or not. I don't know if I will. So I found book number 45, The Revelation, in shrink wrap still, never opened, with a CD-ROM demo of the Animorphs game, which is called Know the Secret. So this was a game that came out, and you can get the whole game online, but I could not find a copy of this for sale anywhere that was the book and the CD-ROM, still the demo, still in the package together. So this one is still shrink wrapped from when it originally sold, which this is one of the few promotional items. So there are a few Animorphs books. I was doing a little bit of research on this. A few of the Animorphs books came with different promotional items. So this is one of the ones that came with this book, 45. It came with this CD-ROM demo that you could play the first level of the game kind of thing on your computer. I have no idea if it works. It'd be so interesting to find out, but it's a PC CD-ROM, and I don't have an old PC with a CD-ROM still. So I might be out of luck, but it looked really interesting, and I was like, I don't even know what to do with that, because that is such an interesting find, and I'm definitely going to put it on the shelf in the shrink wrap still. And as I read the series, I'm going to have to decide what to do, if I'm going to try and find another copy of this to read or what. I don't really want to open it though. I don't know. Tell me what I should do in the comments. And then last but not least, I found a few puzzle books that I've been collecting, and I found one whodunit mystery pop-up book that I have been looking for a very long time. First, I picked up number 3 in the Usborne Young Puzzle Book series, Puzzle Farm by Susanna Lee. These are an amazing picture book series from the 90s that have all these different puzzles inside of them. So each page, there's different puzzles to solve. There's also, at the very beginning, it gives you some different things that you have to find in each different page to see where you can find it. It has like super hidden stuff that you have to find too. And at the very end, I'm not going to show you that page because it's the answers, but at the very end, it does give you some did you catch this kind of stuff. So this one is book number 3, Puzzle Farm. And then I also picked up book number 4, Puzzle Castle by Susanna Lee. So I have 2 of these. I have one from when I was a kid, and then I found one recently, and then I found this one, which this one's one of the harder ones to find. This is Pirate Plunder's Treasure Hunt, a pop-up whodunit. Now, what these are is you flip through the pages and you solve the mystery. So there's all these different things. You can like pull out these different things to look at them. There's like little flaps and stuff. And you can look at all these different clues throughout the book to try and solve the mystery of what's going on. Now, it has amazing pop-up pages like this one in particular with the boat. It's so awesome. I was like, what is this? This is amazing. And you can like look inside the boat and there's like clues in there, all kinds of stuff. And what's awesome about these books is you could turn a dial near the end of the book. So there is this dial. This one's is a little bit ripped, so I'm gonna have to do a little bit of surgery on it to help fix it. But you turn this dial here and it changes the mystery. So you have 3 different possible outcomes that can come up depending on how you turn the dial. So you can reread this book multiple times. I have looked back at the original one I had, which is a pyramid one, and I found new stuff in it that I'd never seen before, even from when I was a kid going through that book so many times. And so this one, I cannot wait to go through it. I think I love pirate stuff, so this is so fun to me. This one was at a half-price books. I couldn't believe it. I was super excited to find this one, and it was just incredible, an incredible moment. I can't wait to put this on the shelf with the other 2 in the series. So those are all the books I found when I was in Minnesota, looking at different books in Minneapolis and St. Paul. I drove all over and looked at all these different books, and it was so much fun. So until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye.